Hello everyone, and welcome to our first devlog. A lot of game dev journeys start with wanting to make your own dream game, because there is no such game yet. Well, there might be a reason why these games don't exist, so we didn't want to put the bar that high. So what did we do? Correct, a open world RPG.
You what?
Okay, well, maybe not completely open world, but you will see what I mean. You will start out just as a peasant, trained in nothing, and you will have to specialize on the fighting style of your choosing. The more you play, the more powerful you will get. The idea is that you have to clear out islands and beat each of the island bosses to progress further in the story onto other islands, until you are strong enough to take on the big bad evil guy, controlling all the bad in the world. But there's already a little twist planned in the end. I know what you all are thinking now. Don't do this as a first game, and I know, but it's not our first game. We aborted 2 games before, one being a Counter-Strike minigame inspired LAN game, which we called LAN game, and one tower defense game where we didn't even make it past level 1, so I would say we are quite experienced. Okay, so who are we and who does what? We are 3 dudes from Germany. 2 of us being computer science students, and then there's me. And since I can't code for shit, I'm gonna be responsible for graphics, modeling and level design, and the other 2 are doing all the coding and metric shit. Starting out, we quickly realized we will need a ton of assets. Like, a lot. And I can't really model that good, as you can see here, so we invested in some assets which will definitely only be used for prototyping and won't make it into the final game, wink wink. Alright, let's take a quick look how the AI is doing. Yeah. I wanted the first level to be in a dark and moody setting and still be linear. So you go to the first little town and get introduced to the beginning of the story as well as get a starter weapon. The level system is inspired by Dungeon Siege, so while you start out with a dagger, you soon get a chance to change your fighting style and get stronger the more you fight with the same weapon style. You get your first few fights around here to introduce you into the combat system, as well as the possibility to loot the little camp here before entering the first dungeon. All this already requires a ton of stuff going on in the background. You need an inventory, an equipment system, NPC interactions and so on. But since we got Tom doing that, we pretty quickly had all of that shit. Don't mind the UI, by the way, this is just all prototyping still. To let all those items appear in the inventory, we of course needed icons, which are very annoying to make, but at least simple and straightforward, so I was able to do those. Then of course you need animations for all the weapon types and abilities you have and plan on having, so I needed to do those and also implement an IK layer to work with the camera view, so it doesn't look like total shit, which of course worked perfectly. Then I made a menu scene, which reminded me of the fact that we would need a proper name for the game, cause so far we just called it Game B. Which is a pretty good name to be honest, but after all we decided on Wildfall, which will also be the name of the biggest city, so that should work. Alright, well this is all progressing, let's have a little peek over at the AI. Nice. Coming back to the modeling issue earlier. I tried it again, watched a lot of tutorials, and I think I did a decent job. I made this Mouflon boy, which is basically just a fighting goat. I made this flying head, which is gonna be a little enemy to fight off, and I made those elementals, which are gonna be modular. So you get the lava elemental, you get an earth elemental, a grass elemental, a water elemental, arcane elemental and so on, which I'm actually pretty happy with, as well as that little rock spider over there, which was a nightmare to model, but I think I got it. I'm actually quite surprised on how those turned out, and I think I might be able to do some more. So to end this first devlog off, I thought I might want to upgrade to the universal render pipeline because it has better performance, it's way more efficient in general and gives me a ton of more options creating my own shaders with ShaderCraft, for example. So I upgraded it and surprisingly everything worked perfectly and nothing had to be... Nah, just kidding, it killed everything I loved and created and made a total chaos. So I just went back to my safe space in which grass just works as a texture and shaders are written by hand.